I don't know who needs to hear this, but no, it's a complete sentence. Let's talk about that today on Life Starring Dead. Hey everybody, it's your girl Deb. Welcome back to another episode of Life Starring Deb. We are at the end of the year, the last 2 months, and around this time of year, we start to think about the next year, what it's going to bring or what we want it to bring, or maybe some changes that we might want to make. So it's ironic that the month of November starts with the word no, November. And that should be something that we, some of us anyway, should start thinking about as we close out this year and enter into the next. Why is it so hard sometimes for us to just say no? Especially when that's the response that we really want to give. So think about it. People ask to borrow money, maybe borrow clothing. People invite you places. Sometimes our grown kids want us to keep kids. Any number of things that people will ask us. And sometimes we just want to say no, but for whatever reason, we don't. And we say, sure, I'll do it. Or yes, I will. Okay, I'll come. Even though we don't want to do it. I am here to tell you today, it is perfectly okay to say no. It is your right to say no if that's not what you want to do. See, we sometimes feel guilty about saying no, especially, depending on who it is that's asking. We want to be helpful. We want to, lend a hand when we can. We don't want to feel selfish. We don't want all of these things. And so we start to think about, what the outcome might be should we say no when someone asks something of us. But it is okay to say no. And saying no does not make you a bad person. So one of the things that I know we have to do is we have to normalize saying no. We say yes so often that sometimes it just doesn't feel normal to say no. So we have to get to the point that it becomes just as easy to say no as it is to say yes. We have to think about our well-being. What will the yes do to us? Will it create more stress? Will it make us more tired? Will it give us regrets? Do we feel like, oh, I shouldn't have did that? We second guess all those things. So you have to think about what will the yes answer be as opposed to the no. And we have to get used to saying no. And here's the thing. Even if you're not busy, even if you don't have something to do, you can still say no because that is your time. Just because you're not out and about and doing things and you're talking on the phone and you say, I have this, that, and the other. What if it is that you just want to stay home in the quiet of your home, or you want to read, or you want to just kick back and watch TV or have a glass of wine or whatever without the distraction of whatever it is that someone's asked you to do? Your time is your time, and you get to decide how you want to spend your time. And if spending your time does not include saying yes to something that you really don't want to do, then say no. So there's 3 things that I want you to remember. Number 1, again, it's okay to say no. It is just okay to say no. It is okay to change your plans. Meaning, if you said yes, it's okay to turn around and say no. But the catch to that is tell the person as soon as possible if you've changed your mind. Call the person and say, hey, I know that I said yes, I would blank, 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 but I've had a change of plans, or whatever it is, and I'm going to have to change on that. I'm going to have to say, no, I can't go, and mean that. And it is definitely okay to put yourself first. I want you to remember that you don't have to give an explanation for the word no. No is a complete sentence. No. You don't have to say no because da 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 or da da da. No, you don't owe anyone an explanation. Now, if you want to give one, that's perfectly okay, but you don't have to go into a long, drawn out thing about it, because when you do that, you're just trying to convince the person that the reason that you're saying no is legitimate. Well, it doesn't have to be legitimate to that person. It has to be legitimate to you. So although you don't owe anyone an explanation, your no can just be your no, just like your yes is your yes, because a lot of times when we tell someone yes, they don't want to hear the yes, but. Yes, I can keep the kids, but. Yes, I can go with you, but. Yeah, no, they just want to hear the yes. They don't care about the other stuff. So again, with your no, you can just say no. And you don't have to give an explanation for the word no. So most of the time when we say no, especially when it's with our close relationships, our close friends or family, again, sometimes we just feel guilty about saying no. But some of the things that will help you to say no is to communicate ahead of time about things that you want, or ways that you would appreciate them approaching you when it comes to asking for things. You also want to make sure that your self-worth comes into play. What you want and what you don't want. It will also help you grow in the areas in which you struggle with saying no. Once you begin to say no more often, especially when you just don't want to do it, and you say no, and then you go, oh, I said no, and be okay with it, that's growth. And then the next time, it'll become easier and easier and easier. And then your friends and family will begin to understand that when you say no, she means no. And that's a good thing. And sometimes people don't learn that at all in their life. They just become the yes person, the doormat, the go-to for everything. I'm going to call her because she always says yes. No, you have to get to the point that, no, not this time. And also, it definitely helps you to set boundaries. You have to set boundaries with your friends and your family when it comes to things that they want from you. Set healthy boundaries, your healthy boundaries, and only you know what that is. So don't be afraid to set boundaries. So here's a couple of suggestions that seem to work for me when I'm asked to do something. Now, sometimes I'll say yes off the top because it's no problem and I don't mind doing it and whatever. But when no might come into question, the first thing that I'll do is I'll think about it. I'll hear what's asked of me, and then I'll think about it. I don't give a response right then and there. I'll take some time and I'll think about it. And then I'll tell the person, let me get back to you on that. And that doesn't necessarily mean in the same conversation. You might say, let me think this over. And then you circle back to them when the time is right for you. And you say, I'm still thinking this over. I'm trying to see. So let me get back to you, and give them a time frame in which you're going to get back to them. And then make sure that you do that in enough time so that they can find an alternative to whatever it is, or, whatever it is that they need, should you happen to say no. And then also you might want to offer an alternative. You might want to offer an alternative to whatever it is that's asked of you. Offer another suggestion of, I can't do this, but I can do that. Or I can't do this, but this is something that you might consider. And then that way you're still being helpful, but you're still standing on what you believe is the word no. Now, the one thing I want to warn you about is saying no is a double-edged sword. So you now have to respect the other person that you might ask something of. You have to respect them saying no to you and be okay with it. See, we can give it sometimes. Sometimes it's hard to take it back, especially when we need something done and we go to our go-to person and they tell us no, and we be like, no, well, you know what? They have the right to say no, just like you have the right to say no. And you have to be okay with your friend or family's no, just like you want them to be okay with your no. So that is today's episode. You know, we just have to be better, especially my older, maturing women and men that tune in. You know, sometimes we are the it for everything because we're just, oh, we're so nice. And she always comes through. Oh. And they don't know, you know, what you may have had to do to juggle, to get your mind right, to, you know, whatever, to do whatever it is that they're asking of you, especially when you want to say, no, not this time, or I can't do it, or just no. So that's today's show. I hope that you received some value from this show. If so, please like and subscribe. If you haven't, share this with a friend, someone that might use this information. And also, I've got like 90 something episodes. Go back and look at some of those because we're trying to get it right for the new year. So that's today's show. Thank you for tuning in. Until we meet again, be good to you. Have an amazing day. Take care.